A US judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male workers across state lines to take part in recorded performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
Sean Diddy Combs, once the crowned king of hip-hop and high life, now roams as a broken shadow of his former self, haunted by concrete walls and the scent of downfall. The $1 million smile, the champagne-fueled legacy, the untouchable, or it's all crumbled. What's left is a silent figure in chains, slipping deeper into a collapse so public even his most loyal insiders can't spin it into hope. Sources close to the chaos say Diddy's health has nosedived, with back-to-back emergency ICU runs becoming more routine than rare. At 55, the mogul who once ran empires now shuffles through the cold, sterile halls of Brooklyn's MDC like a ghost begging not to fade. Diddy's appearance has taken a shocking turn. The man who once owned
what his team is trying to do is get the public to assume that the government is leaking some of this negative information about him, like that Cassie video. But the reality is, he's got a lot of enemies.
Runways and red carpets now looks gaunt and hollow in a prison jumpsuit. Courtroom witnesses were stunned. He's noticeably thinner. Reports claim he's avoiding hot meals altogether, skipping the cafeteria like it's a death trap. And it might be exactly that. According to insiders and a prison consultant who's seen it all before, Diddy's paranoia is raging. He suspects someone's lacing his food, and with the skeletons he's allegedly hiding. That fear doesn't sound so far-fetched. He's reportedly surviving on sealed snacks, vending machine chips, ramen noodles, and processed junk food. No hot trays, no cafeteria visits. This isn't about preference, it's about survival. The man who once sold top-shelf liquor now treasures dollar store beef jerky. Because when you're accused of double-crossing, not just the music industry, but possible underworld figures too, even a granola bar might come with a warning label. And insiders say this descent isn't just about fear. It could be payback in slow motion. A deliberate breakdown, psychological, physical, by enemies with long memories and even longer reach. And let's talk retribution. Sources close to the case are floating theories about an inside job and long-game revenge. One former bad boy, road manager, even hinted that Diddy messed with the wrong people a long time ago. Combine that with the judge denying him bail, not just for flight risk, but because of possible witness tampering, and it paints a grim picture. He thought he'd walk free. Instead, he's being cooked alive in a pressure cooker of silence, fear, and humiliation. And all that commissary, comfort food, gone. Limited list, no luxuries, no escape. Let's not forget Diddy hasn't just been accused, he's been convicted. 2 felony counts of transporting for illicit purposes. The racketeering and trafficking charges. Acquitted, yes, but that doesn't erase the portrait painted by prosecutors of manipulation, coercion, blackmail, and freak show-style indulgence. 34 witnesses laid out a chilling timeline of substance-fueled parties, degrading acts, and psychological trauma. And while the jury didn't buy into the full RICO story, they bought enough to put Diddy in a cage, keep him there. Every guard, every inmate now stares at a fallen emperor. This is the same man whose mansions were raided by the feds just months ago. Now, he's pacing cell blocks haunted by whispers, and those whispers are getting louder. Word is, former associates, our flippant people who once took orders from him, are now secretly testifying, desperate to cut deals before Diddy decides to talk first. Prosecutors are watching him closely, wondering, will he crack and spill everything? But here's the truly dark twist. Sources say he made sure some people can't talk. Some insiders have vanished, no posts, no calls, no court, just gone. One ex-assistant reportedly warned a friend, if you speak, you might not wake up the same. That fear is real. For Diddy, it's not just about prison. It's about betrayal. Every cell door slam echoes of bigger threats. Someone flipping, someone leaking, someone breaking the code. And with sentencing approaching fast on October 3rd, there's panic in the air. Not just for Diddy, but for everyone who knows what he knows. Because if this mogul falls, he might just take half of Hollywood with him, and that, right there, might be the very reason some people want him silenced for good. The gloves are off. And behind bars, Diddy's paranoia is bleeding through the cracks. His refusal to touch even basic prison supplies has become a symbol of his unraveling. Inmates at MDC report he paces like a man waiting for the ground to give way beneath him. He's pulled away from almost all prison programs. Aside from those, his lawyers advise like the Stop Initiative, a program meant to show remorse and earn sympathy ahead of sentencing. Legal analysts see it as a chess move, not contrition. Former prosecutors even dubbed it gamesmanship 101, a predictable routine. Therapy, addiction counseling, domestic violence rehab, all boxes to check before the judge decides his fate. But insiders claim there's more than strategy driving his behavior. Some say Diddy looked genuinely rattled during intake, obsessing over where food comes from and how loyal the staff is, instead of focusing on trial strategy. Meanwhile, the legal drama continues behind closed doors. Even if public interest has cooled, there's still movement in court, even if updates are slow. And while the public may be fatigued, sources suggest Diddy is anything but calm. The big question remains, is he spiraling under pressure, or playing the long game waiting for someone to strike a deal, or a judge to toss a charge? His loyalists insist he's stable and focused, with one even claiming he's in good spirits. But those words ring hollow next to the grim reports from court insiders. One journalist called him barely recognizable, noting he looked thinner, grayer, and disturbingly vacant. Another described him as slow and uncomfortable under even the softest questioning. A man once commanding private jets, elite staff, and red carpet dominance now reduced to clutching a plastic chair and dodging eye contact in front of a federal judge. And the speed of the collapse, that's what stuns people most. It's been barely over a month since his arraignment, and already the walls are closing in. Investigations remain ongoing, evidence is being exchanged, and a gag order now limits what lawyers can reveal. But while Diddy awaits Judgment Day on October 3rd, a more ominous countdown looms, one that's not governed by court calendars. It's the fear that someone out there wants Diddy silenced for good, not because of age or illness but because of what he knows. The speculation now swirling is that powerful enemies inside and outside the prison are determined to make sure Diddy never speaks. If that means something slow, untraceable, hidden in food or medicine, well, stranger things have happened, because this isn't the kind of battlefield where subpoenas matter. In this world, silence is the currency. And while Diddy's team is pushing for bail, again citing new evidence and offering 24/7 private security, plus complete social isolation, few believe it's about justice anymore. For many watching, it's about survival. And right now, Diddy appears to be losing his grip on both. His empire is already in shambles. His brand, radioactive. His former friends, scrubbing him from their time. Cassie, Kanye, even Usher have gone radio silent. Ducking the media like the name Diddy is toxic waste. He technically faces 15 months to 5 years. But if the decline continues, it won't matter. A federal facility doesn't offer much mercy and even less protectionist, especially when your name is floating alongside accusations of racketeering, secret tapes, and buried victims, now finding their voices. The once glossy image of Diddy, the platinum hits, the yacht parties, the Syracuse, shattered. In its place, a darker truth is emerging. Former insiders, employees, and once loyal friends aren't whispering anymore, they're cooperating. At least 3, sources claim, are quietly aiding federal investigators, not out of principle, but fear, because everyone in the industry knows Diddy kept receipts. And those receipts, they don't stop at him. And just when you thought it couldn't get any darker, we hear from people who lived it, like former assistant Mia, who testified under a pseudonym, admitting she received nearly $500,000 in hush money after quitting. But the real horror wasn't the money, it was what happened before she left. According to courtroom accounts, Diddy didn't just collect behind-the-scenes footage or promotional B-roll. He allegedly kept vaults of far more disturbing material. We're talking about the infamous tapes recordings from Diddy's notorious freak. According to insiders, Ailey ran multi-day sessions filled with high-profile guests who had no clue they were being recorded. The footage, described by multiple sources, was stored on encrypted drives and backed up in at least 2 offshore locations. These weren't just trophies, they were leverage, insurance. The real question isn't whether the tapes exist. It's who's holding them now, and what they plan to do with that power. The danger here goes far beyond negligence claims. Some insiders say that's exactly why Jay-Z dismissed one part of the case with prejudice. It's bigger than Diddy. That footage allegedly contains compromising evidence on artists, executives, even politicians. Names like Usher, The, and Bizarre. Ones like Mike Myers have already floated in the courtroom. Some were just mentioned in jury screening, but that alone was enough smoke to suggest there's fire underneath it all. Lawyers warned from the jump if those tapes are subpoenaed, it could blow a crater in pop culture. But Diddy never had to turn everything over. Not yet, and if those tapes land in the wrong hands or worse, are used as could evaporate overnight. Meanwhile, the legal teams are shifting. More female lawyers are being added, partly due to the number of female victims, partly due to strategy. But there's also speculation some defense attorneys may have past ties to victims. This is why betrayal matters. These aren't just angry assistants or ex-lovers going public. These are people who allegedly transported guests, handled encrypted files, and signed NDAs that came with serious threats. Now, with Diddy shuffling in and out of medical care, those same insiders are reportedly flipping. At least 2 federal filings remain sealed in. Ex-SDNY investigator says that usually means someone's cooperating. The prison whispers are loud. Someone on the inside is helping. Diddy's health spiral is being treated as more than stress or age. Some believe it's revenge. For years, an empire of silence protected him. Flights flying mystery guests across state lines, favors that never made headlines. But now the structure's cracking. Take Capricorn Clark, his former assistant, who testified she feared for her life after admitting ties to Suge Knight. Or stylist Deontay Nash, who said Diddy lost it when he went clubbing with Rita Ora. Aren't wild stories, they're key puzzle pieces. And even Diddy's own legal team isn't sugarcoating it. They called him dishonest, violent, promiscuous, a manipulative swinger who lied and cheated his way through relationships. This isn't some media hit piece, this is straight from court. The real threat now, that people who once lurked in the shadows are stepping into the light, each bringing receipts, docs, voice memos, time-stamped videos. One insider claimed a flash doctor exists that could flip the whole case upside down. That flash drive allegedly connects to a core accusation involving substances, unnamed celebs, and coercion. If that comes out, it won't just be Diddy going down, it'll spark a domino collapse in the industry. And while all this unfolds, Diddy's body is reportedly falling apart. Failing knees, no appetite, fading vision, but his paranoia stronger than ever. Staff say he won't take pills unless they're sealed in front of him, and he inspects every one, like it's laced. Some say it's over the top, others say it's survival, because when you've got this many enemies and this many don't just sleep easy. To prison sources say he paces for hours, mumbling, checking vents and floor tiles, convinced someone will strike when he sleeps. Inmates claim he argues with invisible voices, whether it's guilt, drugs, or truth catching up. One thing's clear, Diddy's kingdom of fear is crumbling from the inside out. Sometimes he sounds desperate, sometimes manipulative, but always broken. This isn't just stress, it's the disintegration of a man who once owned the beat of a generation, now tormented by the very shadows he helped create. A new voicemail just leaked from the Diddy trial, and it's explosive. He's heard lashing out at the Jane Doe who's been testifying, complaining about being ignored. "I got a busy life. I can't be dealing with your silent treatment, we gotta keep it." But the real irony, the empire he built on control, is now eating him alive. The same manipulation, the same power plays, the same obsession with surveillance that once made him a god in entertainment. Now it's turning on him. Locked inside a 6x9 cage, stripped of the yes men, the PR handlers, and the crisis lawyers, Diddy is unraveling. Insiders say he's become paranoid, convinced someone's impersonating his legal team or bugging his calls. One guard even claims he covered his prison toilet with a sheet for 3 days, afraid there was a camera inside. This isn't just guilt, it's full psychological collapse. We're not just watching a downfall, we're witnessing a man implode. Under the weight of his own sins, the voice that once commanded studios and stages is now whispering to prison walls, terrified of poison, ghosts, and maybe for the first time, the truth. And no therapist can fix what's broken here. Decades of secrets, shame, unchecked power, and trauma are crashing into each other inside a mind that's lost its grip. The system might be punishing Diddy, but it's also exposing the monster he became. But this isn't just about one man. Diddy was never just a celebrity. He was a vault, a gatekeeper, a living firewall for decades of dirty secrets in music, fashion, and media. Now that firewall's cracking and the panic is palpable. Record execs are scrubbing photos, brand reps are ghosting reporters, and former collaborators are ducking into silence. Because if that archive leaks or worse, gets admitted in court, this won't just ruin Diddy, it'll shatter a whole era of pop culture. We're not at the end. This investigation is far from over. And if you know something, now's the time to speak. The tragedy, Diddy might not even live to see his own sentencing. His health is failing fast, and if he collapses before court, everything he knows could die with him. Witnesses will disappear. Evidence will vanish. Files will go missing, by design or by fear. So the real question isn't just will Diddy fall, it's who benefits if he never talks. Because make no mistake, this is a takedown wrapped in a cover-up. This is betrayal, silence, paranoia, and hidden agendas playing out in real time. Diddy's in a cage, but his secrets, they're out there, growing colder and more dangerous. By the day, if he dies silent, a lot of powerful people breathe easier. But if he talks, the entire industry burns. So now you tell us who's pulling the strings behind the scenes. Who's praying he stays silent forever? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who stands to gain the most if Diddy disappears before he confesses? Because this isn't just a powder keg and the quiet. That's not peace. That's the sound of something waiting to blow. Until next time, stay sharp, stay skeptical, and never underestimate the silence before the storm.